Hello and welcome to Africa This Week. I'm your guide, Ibrahim Shita. From being a dark continent among continents, Africa evolved into a region of hope with enormous resources that present growth opportunities not only to herself, but also the rest of the world. But the side effect of corruption ensures that the continent is characterized by self-made restrictions and weak institutions. At this point, we start off the show with earlier in the week. Welcome aboard. On the news on Monday, 10 UN peacekeepers from Chad were killed in an attack by suspected militants in northern Mali. Another 25 Chadian troops were injured when the gunmen stormed the UN camp. The UN said the attack was repelled. The UN mission in Mali was set up in 2013 to fight militias operating in the country. Militants have regularly attacked UN and Malian troops since then. Al-Qaeda's North African branch, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, said it carried out the latest attack. Large swathes of northern Mali were seized by jihadists in 2012 until they were pushed back in a French-led military operation the following year. More than 15,000 personnel, including civilians, were later deployed as part of the UN mission MINUSMA. Still on Monday, news of a violent crackdown in Zimbabwe emerged despite the government blocking social media sites. The government said the security forces' response to recent protests in which a number of people have reportedly died is just a foretaste of things to come. Local rights groups said at least 12 persons have been killed and many more beaten by security forces, and the presidential spokesman has blamed the opposition movement for democratic change for the violence that has accompanied the protest. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has also cut short his current foreign tour. Meanwhile, the UN has called on the government to halt the excessive use of force by security forces amid reports of door-to-door searches and the use of live ammunition. The protest in the country was sparked by a sharp rise in the price of fuel. Now, still on Monday, embattled Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir renewed his call for protesters to realize that the only credible way to change government is via the polls. He has stressed this point in previous addresses at pro-government rallies held to counter the dogged anti-government protest that broke out since last December. President Bashir has been quoted as saying that forces against Islam and Sudan did not support the stability of the country. But while protests continue in part of the country with its attendant crackdown by members of the security forces using tear gas and live bullets to disperse protesters. On the news on Tuesday, Congolese opposition leader Martin Fayulu's call for protest after the DRC top court's declaration of Felix Tshisekedi as president-elect flopped. Despite the confirmation of the court, the second-place candidate declared himself winner and called for demonstrations, a call with little or no clout. As supporters of Tshisekedi thronged the streets of Kinshasa in celebrations, runner-up Martin Fayulu said the ruling had opened the way to a constitutional coup d'etat, raising fears of more violence. Martin Fayulu also slammed African leaders who have congratulated the winner of the contentious December the 30th poll. He said the president, by their actions, are encouraging electoral fraud, falsehood, and forgery. He also said their actions were a disrespect to the foreign will of the people. The Constitutional Court in the DRC capital Kinshasa on Sunday ruled on the poll petition brought by Martin Fayulu, throwing it out as one without basis. Now, on Wednesday, the European Union and African Union have refused to congratulate Felix Tshisekedi's disputed presidential election win in DR Congo, but say they will work with him. The response marked a frosty contrast to the hearty congratulations offered by some individual African leaders. We have details in this report.
Felix Tshisekedi, son of DR Congo's veteran politician Etienne Tshisekedi, narrowly defeated another opposition leader, Martin Fayulu, in the December 30 election. Fayulu claims he actually won with more than 60% of the vote, and the AU had serious doubts about the credibility of the official results. Asked at a news conference about the election, both the European Union and African Union said they had taken note of the country's court decision, but didn't say they recognized Tshisekedi as the winner.
We have taken note of the Constitutional Court's proclamation on Saturday night of the definitive results of the presidential election. The challenge of the new president is a large one on many issues, including ones of security, social and economic matters, and ones of governance, and we believe that this requires the president to be a unifying force.
The African Union has taken note that the institutions of the DRC have announced the final results, and the Union remains committed to working with the people of the DRC to continue to surmount the challenges that may remain as they enter into a new political dispensation.
The European and African leaders avoided questions about whether they would attend Tshisekedi's inauguration on Thursday. He is due to become the first Congolese head of state to take power through an election since independence leader Patrice Lumumba in 1960. Regional approval of Tshisekedi's victory is crucial for the incoming president, who faces steep challenges boosting development and stamping out persistent militia violence along Congo's eastern borders with Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. Tshisekedi will succeed Joseph Kabila, who has governed since succeeding his assassinated father in 2001. Esther Omokwariola, TVC News.
Now, still on Congo politics, on Thursday, first peaceful transfer of political power in the Democratic Republic of Congo took place in the capital, Kinshasa. Felix Tshisekedi took his oath of office in the presence of thousands of Congolese. The oath was administered by former President Joseph Kabila, who handed over the flag and constitution of the country to President Tshisekedi. Mr. Tshisekedi becomes the fifth president of the resource-rich country. Now, on the news on Friday, the death of a 29-year-old man increased the death toll in anti-government protests across Sudanese cities to 29. This is according to a government investigatory committee spokesman, Amir Mohamed Ibrahim. But rights groups put the total at more than 40. In Khartoum, security forces fired tear gas as protesters in various neighborhoods. Triggered by a worsening economic crisis, protests calling for President Bashar al-Assad to step down have spread into the most sustained challenge yet to his rule. And with that, we have come to the end of the earlier in the week. Up next is Digging Deep, but that will be after this break. Stay with us.